Hi, it's Nicole. Um, it's been a while to make a video, and I don't know why I'm feeling embarrassed, but I'm feeling embarrassed. Uh, I'm making a video and I don't want to edit it a lot, so I'm just gonna make it as it is, and then that's it, done. And then that's it, and I don't need to spend hours editing it, and I can't be bothered with that right now. So I haven't made a video in a while because I had a bad reaction to the COVID vaccine. It was the booster, Pfizer BA 4.5, and it was my fourth vaccine. The first three vaccines, I was okay, had a little bit of fever, not much, just feeling achy and, not very well generally. And then I was okay after a few days, but the fourth vaccine was terrible, and I'm gonna try and go into detail about it as much as possible just to share my experience. A lot of my friends have been encouraging me to just share my experience with the vaccine, the booster, the Omicron booster, Pfizer one. So I'm just gonna do my best to share my experience without like crying or anything. But yeah, it's hard to talk about. I was off work for a while because of it. I couldn't work. I couldn't I could hardly walk. I was so dizzy every time I was walking. So basically I got the vaccine in November. I mean, I teach English in Japan, and I thought there's a lot of kids getting COVID and I need to protect myself, so I'm gonna get the vaccine and that will protect me. Little did I know it would cause me so much pain, and I'm still in pain daily. I look alright right now, but I can. Anyway, I'll talk more about the symptoms in a minute. Let's talk timeline. I remember after work I went straight to get the vaccine, and I thought, well, it's the weekend. It was a Friday, so I thought it's gonna be okay. And then after I got it, it was like within 10 minutes I was sitting and I just started to feel really like funny in my head, and I thought, oh, this is strange. This is not normal. I've never felt like this with the other vaccines. And I thought, like, am I just tired? Is it in my head? And I suddenly felt this like whoosh over my head. I can't explain it. Like in my brain, I felt like pins and needles like going like this all over my head, like a wave. And then it kind of like, it was like static and it kind of faded. It's really hard to explain because I've never felt anything like it, and there's no way to explain that feeling, but it was the scariest feeling ever, because I remember thinking after that, like, oh no, something's wrong, like that's not good. What was that strange sensation? That is not good. That's not normal. And I remember after that I felt like a numbness, like here, and the numbness was like really cold and numb, and it kind of spread all over here, like a numbness and a kind of weird tingling on the top of my head. That, and then I told the vaccine center people, because it was within the 10 minutes of like time you're supposed to wait, like in case anything happens. So I told them, I said, I feel really funny in my head and it's like numb here, and I feel like it's a strange feeling. And I remember thinking, I can't go home, I should go to a hospital, something's wrong. These people are supposed to help me. These are government people, and it's their job to report if anything bad happens. And then they looked at their checklist of symptoms and they were like, is your arm numb? And I said, no, it's my head that's feeling funny. And they said, well, do you have pins and needles in your hands? And I was like, no, like my head. And then they said, go home, because it wasn't on their checklist of symptoms. But getting upset about it, I'm actually doing quite well talking about this, so I usually cry. But yeah, I went home, and I remember I was in the car, and I remember saying like, stop the car, I have to get out of the car, because it felt like it was spreading. It was like numbness, and then it started to spread, like it was becoming more intense, if that makes sense. And by the time I got home, it felt like a really strong feeling of pressure all over my head, like, I can't explain it, like pressure. And it was terrible. It was really terrible. and there wasn't much we can do because in Japan the hospitals shut, like they close after 5 p.m. unless you like call an ambulance. So I was like, yeah, it's just a vaccine, like I'll be okay in the morning, I'll feel better. The next day I woke up and I was still feeling bad, and I remember I was having pain in my ear. It was like this ear, I think, where the numbness was, and it was like kind of swelling and pain all in my ear, and I thought, why is my ear swollen? That's not normal either. One day I went to work and I tried to work, and they were like, are you okay? And I said, oh, I just hadn't, I'm fine, I got the vaccine, I was just feeling bad and I'll be okay, but my ear really hurts and my head feels like funny. And they were like, oh, okay. And then I left early to go and see the ENT because I thought it was coming from my ear. Because like I read online that if you have an inner ear problem or an ear infection, it can make your head, it can like spread to your brain and make your head whatever. So I thought maybe there's something wrong with my ear. And he put a camera in both ears and he checked and there was nothing wrong with my ears. I couldn't work, and I had to call work and be like, look, I feel terrible, I can't work. And it's been like 2.5 months. Within a month, the numbness faded. But every single day, I still have this intense pressure, and the only thing that seems to relieve it is sleep. And it's got to the point where I can work, but I used to wake up and I would feel really dizzy, and the room would be spinning around and around, or I would wake up and my ears were swollen. My ear is okay now, but I don't know. I mean, it's all connected, but even after my ears got better, the feeling has remained and it still comes all the time. And I thought maybe it's like an underlying disease or something. I was worried about brain cancer and so many things, and I got CT scans, MRI scans, blood tests, allergy tests. I saw the ENT so many times. The ENT looked in my throat. I got like sinus x-ray. I had so many tests done. I'm so tired. I've seen so many doctors. And they were like, you're fine. There's nothing wrong with you. You don't have brain cancer. You don't have any lesions in your brain. There's no blood clots. There's no idiopathic hypertension. There's no hypertension of any kind in your brain. The MRI scan would show that. What is wrong with my brain? All I know is that this started after I got the vaccine, and I kept telling doctors that. And some doctors, because I saw a few doctors because I was trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and some doctors said, oh, it's not the vaccine. Well, it happened after the vaccine. And like I saw a neurologist finally, and the neurologist said it sounds like it was definitely related to the vaccine. I mean, not saying the vaccine caused it, but you know, it happened right after the vaccine. So is it viral? I don't know. I know a lot of other people have struggled after getting the vaccine, but side effects is not something I ever considered, especially since this was my 4th booster. It's tiring talking about this. Sorry, I get like a lot of brain fog now. I've had a lot of different symptoms. Brain fog, dizziness, ear aches. Oh yeah, and tinnitus. I've had non-stop tinnitus since the vaccine. Basically, like when I woke up the next day after the vaccine, like I was having earache, and I was also having really bad tinnitus, which was like ee in my ears all the time. I never had tinnitus before the vaccine. I've never had that problem. Oh yeah, and just pressure, and it will be a pressure in the head, and it will be a pressure in the face, in my sinuses, everywhere, and it feels like it's in my mouth. It feels like I thought I had mouth cancer at one point. And it's just really hard. I can't do a lot of things that I used to do. Like I don't really want to work out because like I don't want to run because my head is like squeezing. So for like the first month, I didn't know what was wrong with me. I was in a lot of pain. The second month, I was only given by like various doctors just like painkillers. It wasn't doing anything, like just weak ass painkillers. And then I finally saw the neurologist who gave me muscle relaxers, and the muscle relaxer helped a bit. It was for people with migraines. The doctor said he thinks that the feeling of pressure in my head is a severe, like chronic migraines. That's what the neurologist thinks. And it's just every day. It's every single day. Right now, it's okay, but it comes and goes. It's like a roller coaster. Anyway, luckily the school is so kind and so understanding, and they're really nice. They've been nothing but kind. I'm really lucky. The job I have right now, teachers are lovely. Anyway, I'm lucky in that respect. But yeah, at least I can work now. I mean, I come home and sometimes I do have head pressure, and I just sleep, and then I just come home and sleep. But yeah, it's tiring. It's a tiring thing. I can only hope with the time that it gets better. I'm struggling every day. That was like the most depressing video I think I've ever made. Ugh, and I'm sitting funny and I shouldn't do that. But yeah, I was researching migraines and I thought maybe it's a vestibular migraine, which is related to the inner ear. But I can't be sure because the neurologist I'm seeing just said migraines, but he hasn't given me any specifics. And the doctors are all speaking Japanese, and that was really hard. Like, explaining all of these bizarre symptoms to Japanese doctors has been like the worst. I'm happy to make a video, even though it's really depressing. But I'm not dizzy anymore. I can walk in a straight line. The room isn't spinning. Still have head pressure, still have tinnitus, chronic migraines, but hopefully it becomes less chronic with time. But yeah, if you're gonna get the Omicron booster, maybe don't. I know in the UK they've like cancelled it now. They're like only if you're like really in danger of getting COVID, like if you're really old or you have like a severe like disease or something, then you can get it. But like if you're a young person in the UK, you can't get the booster now, which is funny. I thought, oh, I wish that I had waited to get the booster, and then saw if I had seen that it was cancelled in the UK, I might have been more hesitant to get it. I don't know the reason why they scrapped it in the UK, why if they thought like it's just not worth the money, people don't need it. Don't know, it's a bit suspicious. I was so healthy before this. Anyway, I send lots of love from Japan, wherever you are. And my next video, I promise, will be a lot more cheerful. I just wanted to let you all know what I've been dealing with and what's been happening with me in my life. I am alive and I'm okay. And take care. Bye!